Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy for Civil Services. Let us discuss today the Hindu newspaper of Delhi edition. The first topic that we are going to discuss about in detail, that is, bail orders should not be too long or come too late as both violate personal liberty, said by the Supreme Court of India. In this particular article, what we are going to understand is about personal liberty. This topic comes under your General Studies 2, Polity and Constitution. Let us have a look of this article, what exactly the context is. The Supreme Court held that orders of the courts in bail cases should neither be too long and elaborate nor come too late, as both violate the constitutional mandate of the personal liberty, said by a bench of Justice B.R. Gavi and Sanjay Karol. So, rejecting or granting bail to the accused person should not have a more amount of time. So, in this particular article, they are talking about personal liberty. This personal liberty comes under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. This is about personal liberty, that is, right to life and personal liberty. So, Article 21 says, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to a procedure established by law. This is the exact context. So, the right has been held to be the heart of the Constitution, the most organic and progressive provision in our living Constitution, the foundation of laws. Article 21 can only be claimed when a person is deprived of his own life or personal liberty. By the state has defined Article 21, violation of the right by private individuals is not within the purview of Article 21. So, two rights were secured by this Article 21, which is right to life, and second one is about right to personal liberty. Right, so Article 21 applies to natural persons. The right is available to every person, citizen, or alien. Thus, even a foreigner can claim this right. It, however, does not entitle a foreigner the right to reside and settle in India, as mentioned in the Article 19, Clause 1 and Clause E. Right, so these are all the major areas that we need to give attention towards this particular article related to life, right to personal liberty. So, plea for bail. Argument by Mr. Khan says in the Bombay High Court, the bail application in detail, elaborating the merits and evidence of the case. So, there should not be kind of delay which is affecting the personal liberty of an individual. Right. Moving towards the next important article that comes under your editorial page. The article is about strategic economic bloc will only tighten the leash. November 2019, India walked out from the trade pact called RCEP, that is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. And this is about how can India focus on the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, which is not the member of RCEP. In this particular article, we must understand first, before reading this, what exactly this RCEP is and how India came out and what are the reason behind it. Right. So, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which is popularly called as trade deal. This trade deal, India held that it will not become a part of RCEP until significant outstanding issues are resolved. So, the RCEP negotiations were kick-started during the 21st Asian Summit in Cambodia, November 2012, and all participating countries sought to finalize and sign a deal by 2020. This is what the exact context. As I said, around 16 countries. The trade deal that was being negotiated between 16 countries, that is known as RCEP. They include the 10 Asian nations as well. ASEAN means Association of Southeast Asian Nations. The members such Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, and six countries which the bloc has free trade agreements FTAs, such India, Australia, China, Korea, Japan, and New Zealand. So it's one of the largest regional trading agreement. The countries involved account for almost half of world's population, contribute to over quarter of world exports as well, and make up around 30 percentage of global gross domestic product. So, what are the reasons behind India's withdrawal? The first reason is about unfavorable balance of trade. That is the first reason of India's withdrawal. Unfavorable balance of trade. So, though the trade has increased post FTA with South Korea, Asian countries, and Japan, imports have risen faster than exports from India. So India felt that it is not at all favorable for us in terms of exporting the goods compared to the other countries under the FTA. So this particular report was published by Niti Aayog. Next, dumping of Chinese goods. Dumping of Chinese goods. India recently signed a FTA with all countries of RCEP except China. This is the major concern for India, as after signing RCEP, cheaper products from China would have flooded the Indian market. Then non-acceptance of auto trigger mechanism. Auto trigger mechanism would have allowed India to raise tariffs on products in instances where imports cross a certain threshold, which means RCEP were against this proposal of India. That is another reason. Next, about protection of domestic industry. Currently, India average bound tariff for dairy products is an average of 33%. Right, the RCEP binds countries to reduce that current level of tariff to zero within the next 15 years. That is the target. So all these are all the reasons that we can say India's withdrawal from this RCEP. And also, major thing is RCP is a China-backed trade deal. Signing it without India will further strengthen the China's economic power. It will affect India's neighborhood as China already tries to influence the region through its deep pockets. So, India's Act East policy also affect in terms of exit of India from this RCP. So India needs to work on some reforms and frame policies to prepare the economy for facing the global competition. So easing the land acquisition, reforming the labor law, bridging the infrastructure deficit are the areas to be focused for India in terms of global competition in economy. So these are all the major information that you need to gather before reading this particular topic. This topic comes under your General Studies to International Relations. Next article of the day that we are going to discuss, which is the nutritional value of millets. This article is stating about why are millets popular sources of nutrition, what are the different parts of millet kernel, how are nutrition in millets affected the processing and polishing, can millets thrive in harsh resource poor conditions. This article is covering the complete extent of the major crops comes under the millet. So before going into this article, reading this particular article, you need to understand this paper comes under your General Studies 3, Agricultural Resources and Food Security. So now, focusing on this particular article, we need to understand a background. The first one is about International Year of Millets. 2023. Year of millets 2023. Right. So in this event, India's Wealth Millet for Health Millet Startup Innovation Challenge, Mighty Millets Quiz. So this particular proposal given by India to observe an international year millets in 2023 that was approved by FAO, that is Food and Agricultural Organization, in the year of 2018. And the United Nations General Assembly declared the year 2023 as the International Year of Millets. This was adopted by a United Nations resolutions for which India took the lead, and it was supported by over 70 nations as a member of UN. The objective is about to create a awareness. This awareness of the contribution of millets to the food security and nutrition. Two areas they are focusing: nutrition and food security of the nation. So, inspire the stakeholders to improve sustainable production and quality of millets. Focus on the enhanced investment and also to provide research and development and extension the service to achieve the two aims such as nutrition and food security. So you know about millet is a collective term referring to a number of small seed annual grasses that are cultivated as grain crops. Okay, grain crops primarily on marginal lands in dry areas that we can call subtropical and tropical region. Since you know India is comes into the tropical area. So some of the common millets which is available here in India, that is ragi, jowar, sama, bajra, variga. So all these were the common millets that available in India. Right. So it is grown in about 131 countries and is traditional food for around 60 crore people in two continents, that is Asia and Africa. India is the largest producer of millet in the world. Largest producer. We are the largest producers because it accounts for 20 percentage of global production and 80 percentage of Asia's production. So the global distribution, you know, Nigeria, India, China are the largest producers of the millets, accounting of more than 55 percentage of the global production. For many years, India was a major producer of millets. However, in recent years, millet production has increased dramatically in Africa. So just go through this article, and also you need to understand the initiative taken by the government of India, that is INSIMP, Initiative for Nutritional Security through Intensive Millet Promotion. Increase in the MSP, minimum support price. The government has hiked the MSP, which came as a big price incentive for the farming community in our nation. Further, to provide a steady market for the production in our country, including the millets. This millets also included in the public distribution system. So these are all the major areas to be focused in this particular article. And read this and you will get to know about what is the exact status of the millets and the dietary culture in India. Next important article, which is known as explaining the mitochondrial donation treatment. How a baby has three parents. This process through which an egg, which has genetic material of DNA from the parents and mitochondria from a selected female donor, is implanted in the uterus and carried to full term, yield a baby free of any mitochondrial disease. So here you need to understand this particular topics comes under your general studies 3. Right. Moving towards the information regarding this particular article. A groundbreaking IVF procedure has been successfully performed in the United Kingdom, resulting in the birth of first baby with a genetic material from the three persons with the help of mitochondrial donation treatment MDT. So what is this MDT? Mitochondrial diseases affect 1 in 5,000 people globally and can cause severe health problems including the muscle weakness, organ failure, and also neurological disorder, neurological disorders. Right, this is called mitochondrial disease. So this MDT is a medical procedure aimed to preventing the inherited diseases in the babies caused by the mutations in mitochondrial DNA, that is mtDNA. The treatment involves replacing the faulty mitochondria in a woman's egg or embryo with the healthy mitochondria from a donor. So replacing the weak with the healthy in the donor embryo. So that inherited mutations in mtDNA can cause this mitochondrial disease, which is incurable and can lead to severe health problems. If you do this MTD, then it is highly possible for removal of that weak. How does this MDT work? MDT involves the use of in vitro fertilization, that is IVF, to create an embryo with the genetic material of three people, that is the mother and the father and mitochondrial donor. The process can be done in two ways. One is through the pronuclear transfer, another one is about maternal spindle transfer. So the pronuclear, it is simple. It involves transferring the nucleus of mother's fertilized egg or embryo into cytoplasm of a donor egg. This maternal spindle transfer involves transferring the nucleus of the mother eggs into the donor egg. You just keep this definition to a better understanding. About the legal status of this MTD. United Kingdom was the first country to legalize MTD in the year of 2015. The law allows procedure to be used in case where there is a high risk of transmitting a severe mitochondrial disease. The first baby born using this MDT in the UK was 2016. Since then, few other countries also started making it, including United States of America. What about the status in India? In India, MTD procedure is not currently allowed. However, the Indian Council for Medical Research has issued the draft guidelines for MDT and seeking the public comments. Public comments. Right. So these are all the major things. But here you can connect this topic with your GS4 ethical issues as well. Ethics. Questionable consequences of designer babies because it is against the nature and exploitation of the vulnerable sections. One of the main ethical concern with this MDT is the creation of genetically modified babies. The procedure involves altering the genetic material of an embryo, which raises ethical question about the creation of designer babies and the potential for unintended consequences. And exploitation of vulnerable. It is another concern. Exploitation of vulnerable women who donate their eggs. It is essentially to ensure that MDT is regulated and used only for which purposes? Medical purposes. So these are all the major areas to be focused before reading that particular article and about the background of this particular issue. Right, this topic comes under your GS3 Science and Technology as well as GS4 Ethical issue, medical ethics particularly. So these are all the four important topics that we need to focus for the day, and stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.